Hi everybody! So today we're going to go over some products and do a few tutorials here, and then we're going to announce the winner. So thanks for everybody for commenting. That's how you enter to win. So if you just leave a quick little comment, maybe a suggestion on a tutorial you'd like to see, or maybe some information about products, you can enter to win. Alright, so we're going to talk about my 3 favorite products. So these two go together. They're the Color Proof Crazy Smooth Shampoo and Conditioner. These things smell amazing and they work so good. I find when I use this shampoo and conditioner combo, I don't have to put any product in my hair and I can just air dry my hair and wear it curly, whereas most shampoos and conditioners don't find I can do that. It's super detangling as well, which is amazing. The nice thing about the Color Proof is the little logo, that's how much product you need to use. So it's super concentrated. Awesome. And then mousse. You can never have enough mousse. A mousse is a really great product to use before you're doing any styling. It just gives your hair tons of hold and still can be flexible or firm depending. It's really great for volume. It's kind of the one product that you can pretty much use on everybody. I pretty much use mousse on every single client that sits in my chair, just as kind of like a primer to get their hair doing what I needed to do. Alright, so I'm going to move this out of the way. Then I will get ready for our tutorial here. So we got our little Betty doll here. Let me turn this. So I thought that we would do a top knot hairstyle first because it's the easiest to do and undo. So she's been curled. I just took her out of her updo from last night, so that's why she looks a little bit crazy. So you would want to start off this look by curling her hair or your hair. That is the key to making the top knot look super cute. And then there's 2 different ways that you can do a top knot. I'm just going to grab elastic. So depending on the look that you're going for, one of the ways is to just do a small little horseshoe section on the top. Like that. And then you would want to use some hairspray and possibly a brush to get it all smooth. Her part right here is going to be really strong because she was stuck in that part all evening. Sorry about that. The easiest way I find it to do into a top knot is to just twist it around and knot it through. So you're literally tying a knot in the hair. And then just put a few little pins in there, and when you put the pin in, make sure that you pin through where the hair elastic is, because that'll give you hold, and then do one the other way and crisscross it. And then you can mess it up, put some hairspray in there. So this is the one version of the top knot. So basically you leave the sides down. So it just kind of spices it up a little bit, gives you something different. Make you feel a little bit more put together without doing a ton of styling. So the other way I like to do a top knot is just a little bit different sectioning. These hair elastics are always so stuck in there. There we go. So you can go almost like a half ponytail. So all the way to the ears. So it just depends on the look that you're going for. So the main thing with the top knot is that you just want to make sure that your hair is, and the ponytail is at the top of your hair. It was so hard to pick, Marie. Oh my gosh, we have like so many products here. It's like, how am I gonna pick 3? But those are just my basic ones, so you can see. I really like when doing it this way. Sorry, her hair is a little bit on the short side, so if it was longer, I like to actually leave it down and not necessarily knot it. So the difference is, you can see, instead of just taking the top section, you actually take the whole thing. And then another little trick to hide your ponytail is you just take a section of hair and then you can wrap it around. And then if you want it to stay, there's a few tricks here, but giving a good little coat of hairspray and wrapping it around. And then after you wrap it, you just want to keep wrapping it with your finger until the alcohol completely dries. Sorry, I'm just grabbing the ponytail out of the way here. But that way you don't need any pin or anything. So if you just want to wrap the hair around, and then you're just twisting it around until the hairspray dries. That's the trick to get the hairspray to wrap around there. Then you have her cute little thing. And you can do that with any ponytail. Alternatively, if you couldn't get it to stay with the hairspray, like that's a really good quality hairspray, you can tell. I'm sure if you tried to do that with a drugstore hairspray, it would not work nearly as good. So if you want to do it the other way, you would just twist it. You can lock it through, like, I don't know if you can see this properly, but so just leave a loop out and then pull it tight and it'll hold itself. That's the step 2 to get a little wraparound. So all I did was leave a section and slide that through. And then the other option is wrap it around. And when in doubt, stick a bobby pin in it. I know, she probably just feels so loved right now, right, Sybil? I'm not a huge fan of using the bobby pin because it's harder to hide, but when you're desperate. So I just stuck the bobby pin just underneath there, and I'd probably stick another one crisscrossing. So my ultimate favorite is the hairspray. Way. Alright. So now we will get into the crown braid, and I'm going to try and do it so that everybody can see really well. I'll never forget, I had a bride sit in my chair and she pulled out a crown braid. I had never done one before. And I was like, oh my goodness. How am I going to do this? Luckily, Jenny had done one before and she's right beside me and she helped me through it. And then ever since then, I love them. They're actually really easy to do once you figure it out. So I'm going to show you so that it's super easy for everybody. So what you want to do is you want to section the hair in the front. Just set that away for right now. So I clip that, and then I would do the other side. So instead of the horseshoe section that we've been doing all week, we're just sectioning this forward. And then depending on where you want the braid to sit and where you want the volume, you might want to like take a little bit of this section and leave that into the back. So we'll turn that into volume, and I'll show you what I mean here. So what I did on the second section is I left a little bit more back, so I'm going to take a little bit more. So you kind of want a narrower section where the braid will sit. Perfect. So then we're going to back comb her. First I'm just going to detangle her a little bit because she's got some back combing in there from yesterday. So we're going to start at the crown of her head. it's always nice just to put a little bit of height when you're doing a crown braid. You have to be really careful with your back combing that it's really low though for this. So 1, 2, probably do 3. That'll probably be enough, because if you don't put this little height in here, what happens is the braid goes around and then you just have this hollow flat spot. All right, so you are gonna start on the back left-hand side of the behind the ear. So I have sectioned that forward and that forward, added some height, and then we're gonna start the braid right here. We're gonna do an under braid because that's just the type of braid that I think looks the best with a crown braid, and that's what's gonna make it look like a halo. So instead of taking a triangle section, you're gonna take one horizontal section like that, and that's where we're gonna start the braid. So we're gonna split that into 3. I always start, when I braid under, by putting the hair on the top in the section first. The reason for that is if you start at the bottom, then when you start adding hair, you're adding it from the bottom, and some of the hair on the top gets in and you don't want it in there, and it just makes it a little bit more difficult. So whenever I do an under braid, I always start on the top. So see, that one's gonna go under into the middle, and that one's gonna go up. And then at the next section, we're gonna start adding. So now when I'm adding, I get to take this section out of my way. And then there's like a perfect little section left over for me to add in. So we're gonna continue on with the braid. Actually, I kind of need some paste. I should have grabbed some paste before I started this and put it on my fingers just to give it a little bit of hold. But we're gonna try and get through it. If we can't, I'll start over. Okay. So now you have added in. So we have now done the entire back. And we're gonna start going to the front. So this is where it gets hard if you're doing it on yourself, because now we're gonna start adding in the top. So what I like to do is just kind of brush this in the way we're going, because we're gonna actually braid all the way across the front of her head. We're now on the side here. So depending on where your layers are, I find this spot can get a little tricky. So that part has been added in. Then you would add if there is some, and there's not really. And we're gonna start going horizontal. So as you start to go horizontal, you don't wanna take it from too high, because that's gonna be your upper section. So you're just keeping your sections nice and small while you're turning the corner. Okay, so now we're just going across the front here. Just getting it so you guys can see. Now hopefully it's a little bit easier for you to see as we're going through. Yeah, because the first time I tried to do this to try and figure out how to get the braid thick all the way around, it was really hard to wrap my head around. I was like, do you start in the front? What is going on? But then once I got the sectioning down, I was like, oh, got it. So now we're just finishing up with the leftover hair on this side. So we've braided all the way around. And it doesn't need to look perfect at this point. You want to get it as tight as possible though, because it'll make the next part easier. But absolutely does not need to be perfect. So then you're just going to finish up this section. So I've gotten all the hair. Then I'm going to continue to braid it. Put an elastic in, and I'm not going to put the elastic in there too tight because I'm going to go and flounce the braid just like you would do with a regular braid. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like braided. So you started at the back and you braided, then you turned the corner and went up. Those sections are fine because we're going to fix that with bobby pins. Then you go straight across and all the way down. So that is what she looks like right now. So we are going to flounce her. So you always want to start at the bottom and work your way up. And you're also holding the braid at the same time as you're flouncing. Just keeps it, because you have layers in here. And this particular mannequin has a lot of layers. And then you're just slowly going and loosening and loosening and loosening. If you try to do this and the hair is not curled, it will not work, so don't bother. You need that little bit of curl in the hair to help keep the ends in. If it's not curled, it'll just start poking out. So we're going to continue. This side has already loosened up quite a bit because the braid is just so long now. So now she's flounced and looks really cute, but she kind of looks messy too. So what you're going to do now is you're going to start from the side you started on, and you're going to start pinning her just like we did with the other braid. And you go right in the section of the braid and put a pin in. And this is a really good time to, because the one side will always flop down a little bit. So you want to stick it to the head a little bit tighter. Position it exactly where you want it. I usually take a pin too and tuck right here, because you'll always get this little weird part because you're just braiding upside down at that point. And I like to position this so that it hides the part line. So what I mean by that is I'm going to tilt her down a little bit. So you can see that line there where it's parted. So sometimes I'll pull the braid back a little bit. And then when I pin it, just to kind of camouflage that scalp there. And then like this. And you will need quite a few pins for the crown braid. And then you have your little tail here. Just get her back on her mannequin head here. So you want to tuck it into the top of the section that you took out of. So you're just hiding the elastic in there. And this would be the perfect spot to do a flower. And then sometimes I'll lift up if it's fallen out a little bit. You'll find if you have lots of layers in your hair, like this girl, you will need more pins. So then there you go. So basically we started the braid here in the back section and we braided all the way around her head and up the side, over the top, and then back down, and then we flounced it and just pin it back in. I know, isn't this so amazing? I always do this with my hair when my hair is really greasy and I need like just a little bit of something to put myself together. It's also really nice because my hair is really long and thick and it just keeps it nice and close to the scalp so it doesn't give you a headache. Perfect. So that's it for our tutorials today. So we did the 2 top knots and the braided crown updo. This will take practice. You have to master the braiding first. I just thought that people would really like to see it, so I thought I'd do it. Then we're gonna announce our winner here from yesterday. So don't forget to leave comments if you want to enter to win. So every time you comment, you get entered. We do random number generators, so that's been really nice. So we're gonna give away the milkshake smoothing cream and the milkshake design wax. So the design wax would be perfect for this braided tutorial. You just put a little bit on your fingers and braid. And the smoothing cream is great for blow drying, so you put it through your hair and blow dry it in. And then that is for Alana Farrell. So congratulations, Alana. I think that's the first time you commented and you win. Lucky, lucky. So stay tuned, and tomorrow we'll do another tutorial. Please leave comments, and we would love to do some more tutorials. Stephanie, your hair sounds beautiful, but you'd probably really like a braided crown. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.